Bible in a year. We finished up Genesis. Now we are into Exodus. Okay, Exodus 1 through 3 today. Oh, couple things that just catch my eye when I'm in Exodus 1 through 3. One is the midwives. The midwives. Okay, they're blessed. They get houses. They get blessings because they listen to Jehovah. All right, and then they listened to they feared God. Okay, then we get in Exodus 3, Horeb, huge, good KJV Bible study with the word Horeb. Horeb is the place where he remembers. Jehovah remembers Abraham, his servant, and puts forth the holy covenant to his people in Horeb. That would be Psalms, I just said Psalms 105, verse 41, 42-ish, 41 through 46. Gives you a little more. Verse 8 there tells you that's a covenant forever. But anyhow, this is our first glimpse at Horeb in today's reading. Now, these are the names of the children of Israel that came into Egypt. Every man his house. Every house came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all the generation, and the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceedingly mightily, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph, and said unto his people, Behold, the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Okay, but what happened with Joseph when he was at Potiphar's house? Potiphar's house blossomed, didn't it? Okay, and you could see Egypt blossoming. And then with these people, but of course they're going to be afraid of them. Now come on and deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they falleth out any war, they join unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasures, cities, Pithom and Ramses. And the more afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and were all grieved because of the children of Israel and the Egyptians. So this, I don't know, I guess I missed that part, but this next king, the next Egyptian king, didn't remember Joseph. Hey, Felix, how are you? I'm in, this is Exodus 1 right here. And the more they afflicted them, the more they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor. And they made their lives hard with bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service of the field. And their service wherein they made them serve with rigor. And the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, which the name of one was Sephah, and the name of the other was Puah. And he said, when ye do office of midwife to the Hebrew women, see them upon the stools. If it be a son, then ye kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, Why ye have done this thing, and have saved the men alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered are the midwives come into them. So they deliver the babies before we even get there. Okay, so they take themselves out of the picture. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, he made them houses. Okay, so he blessed them. And Jehovah charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and he took a wife, a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son, and she saw that it was a goodly child. And she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took him in an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with some slime and with pitch, and put the child herein, and laid it in the flags by the river bank. And the sister stood afar off, and what would be done to him? And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself in the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And she saw the ark among the flags, and she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, it was a babe wept. And she had compassion on him. And she said, this one is one of the Hebrew children. And when said his sister Pharaoh's daughter shall go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother and Pharaoh's daughter, and unto her, take this child away, and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him into Pharaoh's daughter, and it became her son. And she called his name Moses, and said, because I drew him out of the water. Because I drew him out of the water. And it became to pass in those days when Moses was grown, and he went out to his brethren, he looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egypt smiting a Hebrew one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and he saw that there was no man, and he slew the Egyptian and hid himself in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that he did wrong. Therefore smitest thy fellow? So he asked him that question. And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? And intended to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. And now, when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. And now, when the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came, Reuel their father, he had said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, who also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. And he said to his daughters, where is he? Why is he that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man. And he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in the strange land. And it came to pass in the process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by the reason of bondage. And they cried, and their cry came unto God for reason of bondage. And God heard their groaning and remembered the covenant with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. He remembered the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. And Moses now kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, and the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came into the mountain of God, even to Horeb. Okay, this mountain has been found. It's a big, huge split rock. Okay, it's 6.5 miles from Sinai, the real Sinai, which is called now, today it's called Jebel al-Alaz. Okay, and it's a burnt rock. The top of the mountain is burnt, it's black. The mountain is rounded or brown. This top of this mountain is black. It's 6.5 miles from the split rock of Horeb, okay, which is a day hike. If you're standing in Horeb, you can look up and see Jebel al-Alaz. These are places that are found today. And the angel of Jehovah had appeared unto him in the flame of the fire, and out of the midst of the bush he looked, and behold, a bush burned with fire, and that bush was not consumed. Okay, but now check this out. Let me go drop back here and go back to this Horeb thing here. Okay? At Horeb, look what happened. When he was at Horeb, he's at Midian, he remembers. God remembers the covenant with Abraham. Okay? Psalms now. Hey, Alan and Megan. So check this out. Okay? Check this out. Psalms 105. The whole thing is the story of Exodus. Okay? Psalm 105 verse 8. He remembers the covenant forever, an everlasting covenant. Go to verse 41, farther down the story. Verse 41, he says, I remembered my promise to Abraham, and the water gushed out of the rock. And then he gave the commandments to his people, and I will be their God, and they will be my people, type deal. Okay, Psalms. So the whole story is told in Psalm 105. He remembers. Okay, so it's a Horeb is the rock where the water flushed out, and then it's the whole the living water. Okay, so we see Horeb for the first time here. Okay, and the angel and Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why that bush is not burnt. And Jehovah saw that he turned to the side, and God called unto him in the midst of the bush, and he said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Draw not hither, put thy shoes off from thy feet, for this place herein thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the God of Moses. Hid his face, and he was afraid to look upon God. And Jehovah had said, Surely he'd seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I am come down to deliver them out of the land of Egypt, and to bring them out of that land unto the good of the land, and the large land flowing with milk and honey, the place of Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Pezerites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now, behold, thy cry of thy children Israel come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians have oppressed them. Now, remember what they said back in Genesis. He said, I say remember, now I have to remember. Okay, so what he said, he remembered, says, the wickedness of the Amorites has not come full, or something like that. And he's the fullness of their transgressions has not yet come. Okay, so God knew that the Amorites were going to get completely wicked, and then he's going to bring Israel in to wipe them out. Okay, so they oppress them. Now come therefore, I will send unto thee Pharaoh, thou may bring us forth the people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moses said unto God, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children out of Egypt? And he said, Certainly I will be with thee. And this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. Thee hast thou brought forth thy people out of Egypt. Ye shall serve God upon this mountain. And Moses said unto God, Behold, for when I come unto the children of Israel, thou shalt say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me unto you. And they shall say unto me, What is thy name? And what shall I say to them? That I am the God of Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt you say unto the children of Israel, I am, hath sent me unto you. And God said moreover to Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, The Lord of God your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This name forever is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say to them, The Lord your God of your fathers, the God of Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that the Egyptians have done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you out of the affliction of Egypt onto the land of Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto the land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice. They shall hearken to thy voice, and that shall come. And thou, elders of Israel, shall come unto the king of Egypt, and ye shall say unto him, the Lord God of the Hebrews hath met with us, and now let us go. We beseech thee 3 days' journey unto the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Jehovah our God. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by the mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And that after that he will let you go. And I will give the people his favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it will come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty, but every woman shall borrow of her neighbor that sojourn with in her house the jewels of silver and the jewels of gold and the raiment. And ye shall put them on your sons and daughters, and ye shall have the spoils of the Egyptians. All right, that is the 1 through 3, the promise that they're going to have the spoils of the Egyptians, because they live right amongst them. All right, so Exodus 1 through 3. The midwives were blessed because they feared Jehovah. Okay? Then we get our first glimpse at Horeb, where he remembers. God remembers the promise to Abraham. The promise that we will be brought back to the land. There we go, folks. This is the Blue Letter Bible app. Puts this in chronological order for us. So we're going to go through Exodus, and then we're going to get into the Kings and Promises and Chronicles. And what happens is it all comes one after the other. So it's put together in a story, more of a storyline than jumbled together like how the Bible is. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you tomorrow where we're going to do like 4 through 7, I think, or something like that. Later.